Well, hello, and welcome to a very special edition of Inside the Audition. This episode is so important if you're an actor, creator, any kind of digital artist or entrepreneur. This episode is for you. Why is this important? The industry is changing. We have AI threatening things. We've had strikes and lockouts, economic uncertainty, tariffs. So, if any part of you is struggling as an actor, as a creator, especially if you're a type of person who has multiple side hustles and side gigs to make ends meet and to pay your bills, this is the episode for you. I recently had the pleasure of being a guest on my buddy and mentor James Wedmore's podcast, the Mind Your Business podcast. And today's episode is going to share that interview with you. But first, I want to introduce you a little bit to James and his program, Business by Design. I've been a student of James's since 2021. I joined his signature program, Business by Design, because I wanted to create a digital income and a digital business. I wanted to create recurring income that would support me in between my gigs as an actor and as a stand-up comedian. We all know that there can be a bit of a starving artist syndrome. You can be hot and things can be really cooking with your gigs and you're just feasting, and then things can sometimes dry up a little bit and things can get a little quiet. So to help me through those ups and downs, I decided throughout COVID that I really needed to develop more of a digital presence. I needed to develop some digital income, some recurring income, and take advantage of the online boom and the online education space. So that's what I did. In 2021, I enrolled in James Wedmore's Business by Design program. And since then, I've been able to grow my business from $40,000 to $70,000 to $93,000 last year. And I want to help you do the same. James opens his training once a year to his once a year live 3-part training extravaganza. It's incredible. I return to it every year to go back to the basics and the fundamentals myself, but also because every year I get new ahas and new business breakthroughs. So I wanted to share that with you. If you've been following my business journey online and you feel that you want to get some of this training, if any part of you has ever thought about creating a digital offer, whether that's selling digital downloads or creating a course or doing some online coaching, some online workshops, some master classes, maybe it's a membership like I have through Actors Audition Club and the Monologue of the Month Club, whatever the form or the offer is, if you've ever considered that, now is the time to join that free training. It only happens once a year, then it goes away till 2026. So if you already know you want to get registered, you can go to actorsauditionclub.com/business. That's actorsauditionclub.com/business. Or if you follow me on Instagram, you can just DM me the word RISE and I'll make sure you get the link. So again, you can go to actorsauditionclub.com/business. There'll be a link there to join the Rise of the Digital CEO. This only happens once a year. It's an incredible 3-part training extravaganza. It really is an event. James is a brilliant teacher. He's a brilliant coach. You'll learn everything you need to start, grow, and scale your digital business. And you can get that up and running in as little as 30 days, 60 days, 90 days. But the training that James will provide, people say that that free training is worth more than programs that they paid for that are $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000. So again, go to actorsauditionclub.com/business or shoot me a DM on Instagram that says RISE, and I'll make sure you get the free link to save your spot. But without further ado, maybe a little more further ado. We'll do a little more ado. I'm going to share the episode. This is my appearance on the Mind Your Business podcast. If you want to look this podcast up, it's on all the platforms. James is the regular host. This is one of the biggest business podcasts in the world, 9 years running. Ranks as one of the highest podcasts. And I had the opportunity to sit down with James's fiance, Jenny, who is also the director of the growth department of James's company. So she handles all the sales and marketing and growing his business, which is an 8-figure business. I think he did $12 million in his business last year. And I had a fantastic conversation with Jenny. She interviewed me about my business journey, how I came to find Business by Design, what my business was like before Business by Design, and what James and the training inside Business by Design have allowed me to create, all of my breakthroughs. And at the end of that, I also share a message to anyone who is on the fence in joining any of this training with James, or eventually thinking about joining his signature program, Business by Design. So listen to this full episode. You're going to hopefully be inspired. I'm not sharing this to brag about my accomplishments. I'm sharing this to show you and to demonstrate to you what is possible. If you've ever thought about creating a digital offer, you can go to 0 to 5, 6, 7, 8 figures in a shorter amount of time than you think. There is a massive boom in digital offers right now. The online education space is booming. So don't miss this boom. Really, right now, this online education, online training boom, it's a lot like back in the late 90s and early 2000s when everyone was starting websites, and you either got on board that trend or you missed it. So there's a huge boom right now. The economy online is booming, and hopefully this interview helps you and inspires you. After the interview, make sure to stick around for the whole interview, because after the interview, I had a chance to ask James Wedmore 3 specific questions about getting started and about growing in this online space. And James was cool enough to give me some answers. So I'm going to share some answers from James about those questions. And then there'll be some special bonuses that I'm going to be sharing over the next few weeks. So this is the first in what's likely going to be a series of digital business related podcasts. Now, again, why am I sharing this? You probably following me because you know me as an actor or as a comedian, but and you know that what I normally am talking about is helping actors. But this is my way of helping actors. There is, again, if you're relying on just gigs alone and auditions alone for your income, you're missing a huge opportunity. If you have any kind of side jobs or side hustle or Joe job, day job supporting you, this is a way to supplement those and eventually replace them completely. We do this only once a year. And so this is the season where I shift from only talking about acting and auditions all year long to shifting to talk about digital business, to share my experience. I'm a partner, a launch partner with James. In the future, I'm also going to be one of his coaches as well. So it's really my opportunity to share my success, share this game-changing training that has really changed my life and my business, changed my income with you. So I hope you like this. I hope you enjoy it. That's the end of the ado. Here comes my interview with Jenny Finley, soon to be Jenny Wedmore, on the Mind Your Business podcast. Enjoy it, and we'll see you right back here at the end of that episode with 3 answers to 3 questions from James Wedmore. And then I'll explain again how you can get into this game-changing program and how you can attend this live 3-day, once a year, free training extravaganza that is the rise of the digital CEO. So stick around for that. But first, here's my interview on the Mind Your Business podcast.
Okay, welcome back to the Mind Your Business podcast for my personal favorite segment of the week, the Wednesday Weekly Win. And today I have Joey with me. Joey, introduce yourself to everyone.
Hello, everyone. It is a pleasure to be here. I have had the great fortune in my life to book lead roles in TV, film, theater, commercials, and being here on the Mind Your Business podcast is equally exciting. I'm pumped to be here. I was so happy. You're listening to the Mind Your Business podcast.
So cool.
I've listened
Your
to
voice
so
is
many
like
episodes.
it reminds me of, remember the glory days of trailers in the 90s? In a world where, say,
One man, one podcast,
one digital business.
one digital CEO.
Okay, we're having way too much fun already. So, Joey, tell people what you do and who you teach, who you serve.
As I mentioned, I'm a actor in film, theater, commercials, TV, and I run a membership helping other actors, coaching them on their auditions. We started out just doing one-on-one coaching, helping them with their self-tapes. The promise there is helping them shoot standout auditions so that they can book more roles. And then we've also launched the new membership called the Monologue of the Month Club, where we help actors attract casting directors and agents and book their next lead role one monologue at a time without waiting for their big break.
It is so cool.
Yeah,
I think that is like the neatest niche and such a really clever way to be of service in that market. I mean, I don't know if you know, I was briefly
I do know.
acting in film, and I would have definitely joined that membership back when I was acting for sure. This is such a cool niche. So I want to get into like how you arrived at I want to do a digital offer, what your background was before Business by Design, and then take me through the journey of creating that first offer.
All right. So the business first started in 2017. I had a studio space in Toronto, and I had the idea of let's use this space for creative things. We were using it for podcasting, but the need that came up was actors needed someone else to help them with their self-tape auditions, someone to run the camera, someone to be behind the camera. So I just started offering that almost like it was just a need. It wasn't an idea that I had like, oh, I'm going to have a self-tape studio. It was just I had friends that needed the help. So I started offering it. But before Business by Design, my business, I'm going to use business in quotation marks.
In air quotes.
Because technically I had a registered business, but it was a shit show behind the scenes. Yeah.
Just duct taped together, as James says.
I had no business training. I didn't go to business school. I've always had a pretty good sense of like figuring out a way to monetize things, but I didn't have any systems, any structure. I was doing everything on my own. I also had a starving artist mentality back then, so my pricing was way too low. I was seeing a lot of clients. The thing that I've always done well was serving the clients, like the fulfillment of actually helping an actor elevate their audition by giving them creative notes and some direction and tips and just ways to increase the scene and just make it stronger. But behind the scenes, I didn't know how much money I was making every month. I didn't know what I was spending. I was chronically behind on my books. I was chronically behind on my taxes.
Yeah.
It was just, and I was doing everything myself too.
Yeah.
So it was total bonkers. I was having lots of fun, but it was just chaos. And what started to happen too is because it was just me and because my pricing was so low, two things. I would feel guilty taking days off or going on vacation because I all of a sudden would I didn't want to leave my clients in the lurch.
Right.
But then that also caused this resentment where I'm like, well, I also want to have a life. But I genuinely, I love actors. I love creators. Anyone who follows that path to me is like a beautiful unicorn and I want to help them succeed. But it was just, I wasn't making enough money. And to give you an idea, I was charging $39 an hour for a one-on-one. But then I had a membership way back then that was $77 a month for 4 sessions.
Oh, wow.
So I was basically at the beginning, it was all scarcity minded. It was like any money that I can charge to really help pay the rent. That's really all I was thinking was I would have paid the rent on this studio. But then what happened is because the pricing was so low, I couldn't hire anyone. I couldn't outsource. Like now we'll talk later about the coaches, but there was no room in my pricing to have someone else helping out. So if I was gone, it was just giving that person all the money to take care of the client, which didn't leave any left over for the business. So it was total chaos back then.
So then what happened when you joined Business by Design?
I joined Business by Design in 2021. The first thing that I did, I know a lot of people rave about it, was Mind Your Money,
Yes.
which is not even part of the main course, it's a bonus. And about 3 weeks after I joined Business by Design, I went to New York City for a week-long acting intensive where I was going to be down there doing conservatory training. And on the drive there and a drive back, I was listening to Mind Your Money and just changing my beliefs around money and helping fix what I think was a lot of the classic money blocks and scarcity. And really the first thing that Mind Your Money helped me do is it helped me make the decision to invest in a full conservatory program for myself in 2021. It was a $25,000 investment.
Wow.
BBD, when I joined BBD, was the biggest investment I'd ever made in myself by that point. And that was scary enough. And so I listened to Mind Your Money, and I was like, well, I can't, now that I've fixed all my money stuff, I got to invest in it. And the reason I did the conservatory program is I hadn't done a full program as an actor. I had piecemeal training, and I started to get the idea that if I'm coaching and training other people, or just for my own acting career, sooner or later I'm going to be going up against people who've been to Juilliard and they've worked in the West End in London and have all this amazing training. So that conservatory training, I really have James and Mind Your Money to thank for that, because I don't think I ever would have had the courage to make that kind of investment. So there was that first year, 2021. I don't have numbers for that year because it was kind of a half year for the business. Because I invested in the conservatory, I put the business a little on the side burner.
Okay.
But the thing that I knew that Business by Design was a lifetime access. So it was like, there's no rush. So I did a little bit, but I was mostly in conservatory that year. Then in 2022, the business did 40,000. Then in 2023, it did 70,000. 2024 did 93,000. And this year, I expect that we're going to break six figures and go beyond. So it's been slow and steady for those first few years, but actually like 40 to 70 is a pretty big jump.
That's well, even honestly, even 40 in your first year and then to go to 70 in the second, that as with you have the membership model, right? And what's the price point for the monologue of the month now?
Just $37 a month. It's low ticket membership, and then the one-on-one sessions for either a half an hour or an hour are $69 for 30 minutes or $97 for an hour. And the bulk of those I don't do it myself anymore. I have coaches.
Wow.
All that.
And when you do that, so it's like just so that listeners understand how to apply this to their market, the monologue of the month membership is delivering coaching on, is it one monologue a month to help actors book? And then if they like are putting themselves on tape and they want an acting coach to tape them and give feedback and read the lines with them or whatever that looks like, it's half an hour for 69 or an hour for 97, which is cool strategic pricing, because who wouldn't take the hour for 97? Cool. Okay, so I know now in your business you have coaches, but at what point did you decide I'm going to expand this beyond myself, and how did you source who you're hiring to coach for you?
So it was during COVID. So it must have been tail end of 2021. So it would have been after Business by Design. I brought on like 1, 2, 3 coaches very slowly, but it was going into Business by Design into the team module and how to hire team members. It was just social media ads with instructions and some careful, like, make sure you include this, like the little secret tips that James gives us. And there are other working actors who have experience helping other actors with their auditions and or had done coaching before. And brought them on. And the nice thing about that is they only get paid when a client books. So they're all independent contractors. I don't have to, like, it's not like a salaried employee type position. So in retrospect, I wish I had done it even earlier, because I really have nothing to lose to do that. And so I've had a handful of coaches, like 2, 3, 4, very small. And I shared this at Next Level Live down in Phoenix with everyone, that it was like 2 weeks ago. In going through the coaching and talking with coaches, we talk about quantum leaps, and we talk about expanding the business. And I had also read the book, or was in process of reading, 10x is easier than 2x.
Yes.
And had the epiphany that if all my dreams came true and I start having big launches and blow up the numbers in the membership, I didn't have the capacity in the business to fulfill on that. So if I did have this amazing launch where all of a sudden I've got right now we've got 40 people in the membership, and we've got a few hundred clients that have come to us for the one-on-one sessions.
Right.
But if all of a sudden we had 1,000 or 500, I would like cripple the business instantly and have all these kinds of headaches. So in the span of a week and a half, I hopped on some Next Level coaching calls. I asked them about team. I had a few ideas knocking in my head and a few concerns. Talked to the coaches. It all seemed to make sense. And then I just did a blitz where I hired 7 new coaches. So now we're up to 12, including myself. And the crazy thing about that is it's been less than a week. While I was at Next Level in Phoenix, I got a voicemail in the morning, and it was the owner of one of the largest acting schools in Canada saying, "Hey, I have a school of 250 actors. We would like to outsource our auditions to a self-tape studio. Would you be down for that?"
Wow.
And it was just like, I mean, I kind of get goosebumps thinking about it, because I wouldn't have been able to say yes to that had I not just hired 7 more people. So it was like, it's really that leap and the net will appear, or just it's like, what do they say about like a fish bowl? Like the fish needs a bigger aquarium to grow into it, or a plant needs a bigger pot. So I did that. I increased the size of the container, knowing that I needed to grow the clientele to really fill up all of our schedules. And then a week later, 250 new clients served up on a platter saying, "Here you go."
Well, and if it's coming from a school, they're going to have new freshmen every year.
Yeah.
You know, so I love that happened, because when you have a niche like this, where James is always like, get creative where your organic traffic can come from. And obviously in a digital business, you want to have a digital platform, which I would imagine they probably found you somewhere on the internet.
They searched self-tape studios near me.
Right.
And
then when you think about, like, if people get too hung up on, I can't grow my business because I don't have a huge Instagram following, or I don't have my YouTube channel built yet, or I'm not the top Google search result.
Right.
It's like, that's really faulty thinking, because there can be other ways of creating organic traffic inside of your local community that can support the digital version, especially when something's like in this niche where there's a like a tangible brick and mortar, more classroom style learning, and then you're offering a digital component of it that a school, of course, wouldn't have that.
Right.
So they would need to outsource it to an expert like that.
Yeah,
it's so clever.
It blew my mind. Never before I got that phone call, I never would have considered that. Like, out of the blue, I'm going to get 200 plus students just kind of handed on a silver platter. And now I'm like, maybe I need to look up every school, tell them that we're doing this. If you want an audition wing for your school, whether you're in Canada or the States, I'm putting it out there right now. And the cool thing, I was able to tell the owner, we have a team of 12 coaches. We're available 7 days a week.
Wow.
All the coaches keep their own different schedules, in person and virtually. We do sessions over Zoom now too.
Wow.
And so our capacity and the offer, and how I was able to reassure him that his students and clients would be well taken care of, really all came by me making that leap to hire all these amazing people too.
Wow.
And everyone that I hired is amazing. They're incredible. I'm so happy that like I basically just got to offer these people a job doing something that they already love to do. And in many cases, they were doing it for free for their actor friends anyways.
Wow.
So
that is so cool.
Yeah.
Yeah, and for those listening who don't know about the way that the film world works, what's important about having the availability 7 days a week all the time is that you get a phone call from your agent that's like, I need you on tape
Right.
in the next 48 hours,
Yeah.
And the sooner the better. Because it can be like, it'll be noon and they'll go, can you tape yourself by 5 p.m.?
Exactly.
So in order to serve that market, then you have to have that level of availability.
Yeah, it's so fast. It's 24, 48, 72 hours.
Yeah.
And sometimes they're life-changing roles. So you find out you've got 24 hours to get an audition for the lead in a TV series that might change your life.
Yeah.
And then you got to find someone to do it.
Yes.
And that's exactly why we exist.
Yeah, so cool. So, tell me a little bit about what you pulled from Business by Design when you were first creating the membership offer.
The first things were like how to build a landing page, simple things, how to build a landing page. Back then I was doing it all myself. So it was go through, first I went through all the modules.
Mhm.
I will say I was one of those students, that as you go through the modules, you're also doing work, and James will say, okay, hit pause, go do that. And then you wait a second and be like, okay, did you do it? I hope you did it. Because if you're not doing it, what are you doing? And despite him saying that every time, I was like, yeah. I'll do that later. I was like, I just want to get the overview. So
Yes.
I was actually a terrible student initially because I was like, I got to watch all these videos. So I like watched every video, but had done nothing, and then had to really go back through the videos and be like, okay, now I got to do the work. So it was landing pages. It was the launch execution guides. It was the launch maps, like seeing the visuals of like, okay, landing page, thank you page, email, sales page, email follow-ups, like all of that. None of that. I didn't know any of that stuff. So just to have it all laid out, the process maps where I could just step by step follow everything. And in the beginning, a lot of the times I would do our favorite 3 letters, MVP, minimum viable promotion. I was like, I don't need to do all the bells and whistles. It's like, what are the minimum things I need to do to get this off the ground now?
And how are you launching the membership?
I've, again, classic bad student. I've done it all, but in the beginning, I was like, what's James doing? James is doing 3-day launches. I need to do these incredible 3-day launches, which is a ton of work and is amazing and can work for you. But for me, then I realized, like, what am I doing 3-day launches for a $37 product for? So then I switched to 5-day challenges. Love challenges. It was great for the actors. Still seemed like it was a lot of work. So now after the most recent $1 million messaging, I'm like, this is a webinar, 30 to 60 minutes. Maybe it's even just a video sales letter, like on a thank you page. So in Q2 and for the rest of this year, the whole game for me is going to be webinars, ideally weekly live, then to make them evergreen automated. And then I'm also going to just tinker with, is it a 10-minute video explaining what it is on a thank you page after a freebie? So it's been making every mistake possible while learning from James and slowly but surely like figuring out the Rubik's Cube of the business. That's what it feels
and what
like.
I hear in that too is it's not only like what I love about Business by Design is in our business, James has every offer that he teaches, and they're all promoted in different ways, but he has all of them in like the suite of all of his products. But it comes down to what would be the most fun way for me to sell this? It's not like, well, if you have a membership, you have to do a challenge launch. Or if you have a high ticket offer, then you must do a 3-part live. And I know I've heard the rumor that there are some digital coaches out there that teach digital business more that way, like more formulaic. And he's so into like, it's your business by design.
Business by design, baby.
That like, if you get through a challenge and you're like, well, it was a lot of work, I didn't have that much fun. Then you go, you know what's more fun? Webinars. And then you switch to a webinar. And that you can be successful selling any offer with any number of launch mechanisms or launch styles. But the launch execution guys just help you have a step-by-step process on how to do that. And then you're really just marrying your version of the funnest way to get your offer out there. Like now my marketer hat is on and I'm like, man, if I was coaching you, Joey, I'd be like, What
Bring
if
it.
you,
Bring
yeah,
it.
I love this. Well, yeah, because I also geek out over this topic too. And I'm
Yeah.
like, what would have wanted it? Like 25-year-old Jenny, what would have wanted to come to? And I think there was a class that I went to as an actor that I thought their model was really cool. It was like you could pay for a one-off. Or you could come and you could bring a friend and just like show up and be in this class. And then if you wanted to continue, then you had to pay for like
Right.
your regular course.
Yep.
So you could do something that's like a webinar, that's like a monologue workshop, or like, and you have your like regular members kind of in there. And then they get to see the type of work that you do. And then at the end, you're like, if you want to come back, you got to join the membership,
So I love that you said that, because we are putting together that exact same thing as part of the Monologue of the Month Club. We are doing these monologue jams.
Yeah.
And that's for the members to bring a monologue
bring someone.
in, to actually perform, get feedback, get coaching. We'll record them so that by the end they have a recorded version of that monologue. They can show it to their agent. They can show it to casting. They can share it on social.
Yeah.
But also, like you mentioned, bring a friend. I'm toying with, should the first one be just a freebie, just invite people to it, or is it a low ticket, $10, $20 to come to the first one? And then they're like, okay, if it's going to be $20 for one, why wouldn't I do the 37? And what we're doing, when I started it, I was doing one weekly monologue jam. But now that I have all the coaches, the game plan is they can run them whenever they want.
Yeah.
So if one of them wants to do one on a Sunday afternoon, another one wants to do a Thursday nighter, then the members can choose a coach, choose a jam. If they want to go to multiple ones in a week, that's totally cool too.
Cool.
And the big idea with the Monologue of the Month Club is auditions are one thing, but a lot of actors, it's the time in between that drives them crazy, where you're waiting for your next audition.
And you don't want to get rusty.
You don't want to get rusty, and you're an actor whether you have an audition or not. So you want to stay sharp. And often if you're looking to go from like a small role bit player to a lead, it's tough for a casting director, sometimes even your agent, to see you as that. So if you can just go create it and be like, look at me rocking this powerful, iconic monologue like a lead actor does, and then you just show it to them instead of them having to imagine, well, I've only seen this actor for one-liner roles.
Yeah.
Could they handle a lead role? Well, go out and do it. And the idea is month by month, we do themes. So January was Shakespeare. February with Valentine's Day was love and romance monologues.
Oh, how fun.
March with the Ides of March was political and social struggle monologues. So each month there's a theme.
Wow, that is so fun.
Yeah. We also deliver in their portal 20 curated monologues of that theme, that they have the documents right there. So instead of having to spend time Googling them and searching for because it's funny that actors do this, but even with Google and ChatGPT, some people still complain and be like, I don't know where to find a good monologue. And it's like, well, now you don't have an excuse. Here's a bunch in your portal.
Wow.
Choose one.
Yeah. Talk to me. So the design of the delivery of the membership, it's sounding like it's very simple. Like it's like you're going to come onto a live call and workshop your monologue, and then you've got the monologue database.
Yep.
Is there any other
core modules?
Okay.
Core modules on how to choose a monologue that's made for you. So really how to find material that fits your unique talents. Then like script analysis and scene analysis. Then rehearsal and preparation techniques, and then performance techniques. So,
and did you monetize before you made it, or did you record those and then have that as core content in the membership when you launched
little
it?
Column A, little column B.
Okay.
Some of them I recorded, and some of them are still ongoing.
Cool.
Yeah.
I love that. I want to highlight that, because some people get really in their head around a membership model being really complex, because it can be like, oh my gosh, how am I going to keep coming up with content every single month? And what you've done is create a pattern in the delivery of the content, and then you show up, everyone's coming to a live call to get live coaching experience. So in a way, they're bringing all the content each month. You're there to facilitate it, but it's not you in your apartment or house going, okay, what am I going to give these actors of value this month? That's,
no stress on like it's fun. Like we get to show up and do the coaching, and I perform too as well. So
that is so fun. Yeah. What's something that you would want a newer entrepreneur to know if they were sitting on the fence of creating a digital offer?
I would say if you're on the fence, I mean, first of all, you need to look at why you want to do it. And I would say do it if you really want to help people, if you think that you can serve people, versus if it's just like, oh, I want to make a quick buck. I think if you're just like looking to cash in, then maybe that's an Amazon store or a Shopify store or something like that.
TikTok shop.
TikTok shop. Yeah. But the biggest thing I would say, if you feel that you want to help people, you want to serve people, you have a skill either as a coach or a course creator or membership, you have something that you can offer to the world and genuinely help people. I think the only reason that you would be holding back is fear. And chances are the fear is not over whether James or Business by Design is going to deliver and be able to help you. I think that's proven if you do any of James's free training, you see all the testimonials. There's no doubt that this program can work for you, regardless of your niche, regardless of your offer, regardless of the type of business you're looking for. The fear, though, will be in yourself. Like, can I do this? And I would say leap and the net will appear. When I joined, the investment was the biggest investment I'd ever made in myself. And it's true, the transformation begins with the transaction. The second you hit that button and invest in yourself, now you got skin in the game and you're like, okay, I'm going to deliver the goods.
Mm-hmm.
And the second part of that is there's no rush. It's lifetime access. I return to the Rise of the Digital CEO every year to watch those trainings to get the foundations again. I attend James Business by Design, his laser calls every year, so that, I mean, if you want to do this, make the commitment. Know that you have a lifetime to be working on this, whether that's your lifetime or James's or the programs, but you have time. It's not like, oh, you got to do this in this next 90 days or else you're a big failure. It's a business school that you have access to for the rest of your life. And I constantly go back to it. It is the gift that keeps on giving. So it's like, jump in, make the decision that you want to do this. If this is something that you want to do, if you don't want to do it, then don't do it. But don't sit on the fence, be like, I really want to do this, but I'm afraid. Just jump in the pool. Know that there's so many coaches. The community is incredible as well. You'll probably learn as much from other students and other members as you might from James and the coaches. You'll get a little bit from everyone. And it's just slow and steady wins the race. Your success is inevitable, bit by bit, year by year. Like, it is rinse and repeat. Like I have little bits. Like I do feel sometimes very impatient. Like, how come I'm not a millionaire now? But if I think like, oh, will I be in 5 years, 10 years, 20 years, 30 years? Like just going from 40 to 70 to 90, if all I did was keep that trajectory up, then.
Yeah. Also, I'm thinking like as a working actor, I remember one of my friends, now we were in our 20s, but she had booked a role where she got paid $40,000 and we were like, you're rich.
Right.
You know, because like could be one, I mean, that could be 3 months on set and then that's, a third of your year. But like to have that also as like supplemental income when you're also acting, it's like what a neat thing to be building.
Yeah, and that's something I should make clear. I'm still an actor. I'm still a performer. I'm regularly auditioning. I've had the fortune to book lead roles in TV, film, commercials, theater, voiceover, and I'm still doing that. But now, instead of having to have some shitty side job that sucks your soul, that you every time you're there, you're like, oh my God, what am I doing? If only I could get that big break and never have to work a shitty job again. Create your own business doing something that you love. And that in the early days was incredible for me because I've actually never had like the Joe job. I've always done performing, and then now I have the business.
Yeah.
But it's days, if I don't have my own audition, I'm working with actors, I'm breaking down scenes, I'm figuring out who's casting what and what projects are going on. So like I'm just in the game, and I think that's a big part. Like decide the game you want to play, pick a game that you love, and then just trust that I get to do stuff that I love every single day.
Yeah.
And that's incredible.
That's Business by Design?
That is Business by Design. And the other thing I wanted to mention on the podcast, and I wouldn't have thought of this if not for Chris Beltran, He was asking me about my travel and asking about the business. He was like, "You were just in Dubai for a week. Now you're in Phoenix and Sedona. What's going on with the business?" And I said, "Well, I have other coaches running all the sessions." And
Wow.
so for the last 2 weeks, I've been traveling around the world. Didn't have to ask a boss for the time off. I didn't have to shut down my business. I essential. I don't have a customer service person yet for like email management, but so it's been check my email in the morning, check my email in the evening, a little bit of quarterbacking, just making sure everyone's okay. If there's any little fires, putting out fires via email, but that's it.
Wow.
And I've in the last 3 years, I've traveled more than I've ever traveled in my life while having a business. I'm making money while I'm traveling rather than just seeing my bank account depleted because of the travel.
Yeah.
Yeah,
That's
so
amazing.
it's been incredible.
That is so cool. I mean, I am so excited to see your membership grow. I love your niche, obviously, one that is close to my heart. Where can people find you if they want to work with you?
The fastest way to find me, you can find me on Instagram at Joey Freddie Larson, or you can go to joeyfreddielarson.com and you'll find all the info about Actors Audition Club or the Monologue of the Month Club. All of that is at joeyfreddielarson.com.
And we can link that up in the show notes.
Link it up, baby.
Cool. Do you have anything to add? All right. Okay. Joey, thank you so much for making time to be here with me so that I can
My
pick your
pleasure.
brain about the incredible business that you've built. And thank you to our listeners for joining us for my favorite segment of the week, the Wednesday Weekly Win. And we will be here next week with another digital entrepreneur where we like to unpack their success, pull back the curtain, and show you the step-by-step process that they've built their unique business by design every Wednesday. So we'll see you next time on the Mind Your Business podcast. That was great.
Okay, there it was. That was a thrill. I've been so fortunate in my life to book lead roles in TV, film, commercials, theater, voiceover. And I got to tell you, being on the Mind Your Business podcast was equally as thrilling as booking of any of the gigs that I've booked in my life. It's been on my bucket list since I joined Business by Design. I've also joined their year-round coaching program called Next Level. I'm a member, a new member, a founding member of James and Jenny's program called Stellar Coach, where I'm going to have the opportunity to learn from James and Jenny and learn their coaching methodology so that I can improve my work with actors, be more effective in helping actors create transformation in their own lives and careers. So I'm so excited to be a part of this. Now, we've got a few questions that I was able to ask James. So we're going to go one by one through these questions. I'm going to play James's answer to those questions. And then at the end of those, I'm going to let you know again how you can get in to the Rise of the Digital CEO, how you can save your spot to this once-a-year training. If you've ever thought that maybe you wanted to create some kind of online offer to create some recurring digital income that you own, this is the training for you. So whether it's digital downloads, courses, coaching, workshops, masterclasses, virtual events, in-person events, a membership, if any of those things if you've had that thought, now is the time to go through this training. Do not make the mistake of doing this alone. You're just going to waste a ton of time. You're going to make a ton of mistakes. And then a year from now, or 2 years, or 3 years, or 4 years from now, you're going to say, shit, I wish I had have just joined this training from the get-go, because look at how far and how fast I would have grown with this training. So this is the training for you. Now, here are those questions from James, here are the questions for James and James's answers. Here we go. So the first question I had, I know a lot of artists, actors, comedians, creators. The reason that you are artists is because you didn't want to get into business. You didn't want to take the regular path. So my question was, how can an actor, comedian, creator start a business without killing their creativity? How can they use a business to amplify their creativity and to support their art, their craft, their career, rather than having that business pull away from their creativity? So here's James's answer to that question.
Well, personally, I've always felt like a very creative person. I always feel like I have like a huge creative cup that I have to fill. And I think that's kind of the beauty of business is you get to do a lot of it your way. And I think the reality and nature is there are some very like masculine robotic things in business. You gotta pay taxes, gotta know your your P&Ls and your profits and your numbers. And I get that. And that's essential for all businesses. But you know what else is essential for businesses? Absolutely essential is sales and marketing. And I think sales and marketing gets to be the first place where a lot of creativity comes out. And you know me. So you've seen Jenny and I, our stuff, like we make videos and commercials and fun ads for our stuff all the time. In fact, so much of the creativity now just comes out in the reels that we do on Instagram, like the skits and the funny jokes and the memes and the stuff that we do. And I have a blast doing that. It's very creative. So I think it just comes down to how you want to do it. I think you have to create outcome-oriented questions. It's like, if I were to decide to start this as a business, how could this become an outlet for creativity? Where can my creativity get unleashed in a way that would be fulfilling, fun, rewarding, and financially successful?
Wow. Thank you, James, for that. Now, second question, I asked James, a lot of actors, comedians, creators eventually face a level of burnout. They all their dreams come true and they start working all these gigs, and then they get kind of hooked in the hustle and grind of it all, really working 24/7 on their craft and their career. So the question I had for James was, how can creating a digital product relieve some of that burnout, relieve some of that stress, and move actors and creators from the starving artist mentality into the digital CEO abundant mentality? How can digital products be used by actors, comedians, and creators? So here's James' answer to that question.
The whole concept behind the digital product is you create it once and you can sell it a million times, or more. You create it once and then you just sell it over and over again. You've already created something that's scalable. And it doesn't hurt to have that in your life and as part of your repertoire, as part of your product suite, if you will. And it takes more time in the beginning, right? It takes time to create it, put it out there, make it real and live. But then whether you sell it once or sell it every day or sell it once a month or once a quarter, it's no additional work. You don't have to recreate it. And I think that's the first taste for people to see, like, wow, there's something really scalable to this. I look at the things that we've created. I have products that we created 5 years ago, and it's producing sales today, every single day. And then when you get into the whole thing of like automating and scaling with like ads and automated webinars and automated funnels, now you don't just create something that you never have to create again, but you can have it being sold for you on autopilot. I think that's the most exciting part.
Boom. So many mic drops by James. Hopefully you're gaining some value from this. Not hopefully. I know you are. If you're listening to this, this is hopefully sparking your creativity, and you got the wheels turning about how you can turn your own digital product into recurring revenue, something that you create once that then pays you over and over and over again, even when you sleep, and hopefully can replace some of those soul-sucking Joe jobs that you have, and can bring more freedom and remove some of the financial stress from your life so that you can really go back to the love of your craft without the stress of having to pay all of your bills from just gigs. And hopefully you can escape some of the burnout if you're reaching that burnout spot, or maybe you're just stressed out wondering, will this ever work? Will I ever be able to work full time as an actor? A digital product is an incredible way to do that. So moving on to the final question, I know that the majority of my audience has not created a digital product before, and that this may be something new for you. So my question that I asked James is, how can an actor, comedian, creator get started? What are the first real steps to getting started to create your digital product, something that can bring in a recurring revenue, digital income, recurring income that you own online, using skills that you already have? What's the fastest way to do that? What's the best way to get started? Really, what are the 1, 2, 3 tangible steps that you can take right now to create your digital business and to create that digital product that you've always dreamed about? And here's James's answer.
First step, ready? First step. This is the most. It's so simple. Okay. I'm going to give a couple of steps, but the first step is to get really clear on what you want. Like, what's your vision? Like, where do you want to take this? Like, what would be really exciting? Just like journal on that. Get really clear on what do you want. Step number 2, within that, you could combine these steps if you wanted to. You better be clear on who you want to serve. I want to work with these people. Okay. So those are your first 2 steps. You can combine it as one step. It's all on like, what do you want? From there, we need to go, well, what do they need? What do they want? The people I'm here to serve, what do they want? The best products are created from the actual wants and desires, the real problems that your audience already has, the people you're here to serve. So if you can get those 3 things out of the way, you are already light years ahead of most people. Sadly and embarrassingly, most people are just like, I don't know what I'm doing with my life. I don't know. I don't have goals. I don't know what I want to do. I don't know what I want to teach. I don't know how I want to help or who I want to help or any of that stuff. So you can get those 3 things out of the way, you're rocking and rolling. The moment you have that, we can get into game. And I would advise anybody to start creating content immediately for those people that solves those questions. Put your best stuff out there right now. Instagram, podcast, YouTube, whatever. That takes time. Do the work, put in the work, get it out there, build a name for yourself, provide value, help, be detached from it. And then the next phase is we're going to launch your beta. Monetize before you make it. This is a process we teach inside Business by Design that has you sell the first iteration of your product live, which means you don't have to create it first. You deliver it live, like over Zoom calls or something like that. But you're going to sell it. You're going to get paid. You're going to get your first batch of clients and customers. These are your founding members. These are going to be your best case studies, your best testimonials, and you're going to have a completed program at the end of this. You can do all of that in your first 60 to 90 days of business. How about that? You get past that point, off to the races.
Boom. Yes, you get past that point, you are off to the races. And speaking of getting off to the races, this is the year, once a year, that James puts on his free live 3-day training extravaganza. This is an event. This is not just one of those flaky webinars that you watch a bunch of fluff and you don't really get any answers, and at the end there's a big sales pitch. This is 3 days of incredible training and education and tools and resources. By the end, you will have clarity on that new business. It's a 3-day virtual event called The Rise of the Digital CEO. Again, I return to it every single year. I've been a member of James' signature program, Business by Design, since 2021, but every year I come back to this Rise of the Digital CEO training, and I want to make sure that you get in now. If you miss it, you're going to have to wait another year. And let me tell you, everyone who goes through this training says that they would have and could have paid $1,000, $2,000, $3,000, $4,000, $5,000 for this training. And most people say they've paid money for programs and courses and workshops that paled in comparison to this free training experience. So to get a seat, to save your spot, to join us at the Rise of the Digital CEO, you can do that 2 ways. Number one, shoot me a DM on Instagram or any platform that says Rise, and I'll know that you want to get in. I'll send you the link to do that. Or you can just take me out of the equation and go directly right now to actorsauditionclub.com/business. That's actorsauditionclub.com/business. And there will be a link right there. Get registered immediately. You'll get a confirmation email from James, and you'll be able to attend the Rise of the Digital CEO. Day 1 starts very soon on May 29th. So you got to get in now. Don't worry if you can't make the actual training dates. You'll have access to the replays, but you got to register. I highly suggest you block off the time and focus and be there live. This is an experience. It's like going to like a business extravaganza. It really is a show. So to be there live and get caught up in the energy, I'm going to be watching live online. And I'm also, if you're in Toronto, I'm hosting a live watch party here at my studio, Actors Audition Club in Toronto. If you want to join me live, I'm going to be going through the training step by step. I'll be here. You can consider me your business Sherpa. There's some some work and some workshops and some actual steps that James walks you through, so that by the end of this training, you'll have an incredible amount of clarity. Even on one page, you'll have a snapshot of this brand new business and exactly how you're going to build your digital business by the end of the training. And if you want to join me live in person, just shoot me a DM and you can reserve your spot. Just say, hey, I want to be there live in the room with you, and you can do that. Or you can join from anywhere in the world virtually. Again, go to actorsauditionclub.com/business, actorsauditionclub.com/business. Click the link there. You'll see the link for Rise of the Digital CEO. Make sure to save your spot. Again, this happens only once a year. So if any part of you has been thinking about this and you want to create some kind of digital offer that brings in digital recurring online income that you own, so that you can smooth out some of the ups and downs of being in a gig economy. When the industry is slow, you'll have something that can still bring in income for you. Register for the Rise of the Digital CEO. And I'm going to leave you with a little message from James. Nobody can explain the Rise of the Digital CEO better than James. Hopefully, I have been explaining it to you and you've already registered. Again, send me a DM that says Rise on any platform, Instagram at Joey Freddie Larson, Facebook, YouTube, wherever you're listening to this. Shoot me a DM and I'll make sure you get the link. But you do not want to miss this. So I'm going to leave you here with James Wedmore talking about the Rise. Again, go to actorsauditionclub.com/business. Here's James to tell you more about the Rise of the Digital CEO. Thanks for listening to Inside the Audition. And a final thing I want to let you know is I'll be releasing more information about this. But this year, I have some incredible bonuses, some digital business building bonuses. Again, I've been on this journey now for 4 or 5 years. So I've built a lot of the things that you need to succeed in your digital business. I've already built those. So I have a lot of bonuses that I'm going to be providing to help guide you along this journey. So stay tuned for those. I'm going to be releasing those. Those are very exciting. Those are things like extra workshops, extra templates, guides, tools, things that will speed up your business building journey. I'm happy to be here to help you with that. James's training has been game-changing, life-changing for my business and my life and my career. It's allowed me to travel more. It's allowed me to build a team. I have virtual assistants helping me build the business. And at all levels, James is the real deal. I have a ton of gratitude for him. And the reason that I want to introduce you to him is he's changed my life, and I know that he's going to change your life too. So here's the final message from James Wedmore explaining the Rise of the Digital CEO.
The Rise of the Digital CEO is based on a couple of very simple premises. The first one is this: business growth happens in stages. In every stage of your growth, you require a different strategy, a different way of being, a different set of thoughts, beliefs, and values. The next thing is the role that you fill determines the results that you receive. So every stage, there is a role required of you. And the last one is the more structure that you have in your business, the more freedom you get back in your life. So at every stage, you're putting the systems, the structure, and the process in place in that business so that you can fill the role you need to graduate to that next role. So what I do in this training is I pop up the hood of our 8-figure-a-year digital product-based business, and I show you how that business runs. And I don't mean it as disrespect to anybody, but learning the latest thing to get you a client or turn your Instagram account into sales does not mean you have a business. And what ends up happening is you end up going down this rabbit hole of reactivity and overworking and exhaustion and franticness. You have just created a self-engineered prison. You are the prisoner. You are held hostage by your own business and you're stuck. I have been there myself. There is a way out. And that's what I'm here to show people, because business is here to give us freedom. It's here to improve the quality of your life. It's here to give you that sense of purpose and fulfillment. And yes, it's here to give you frickin' money. And I want to show you how that's done. That is the Rise of the Digital CEO.
Okay, there you have it. Once again, you can get registered. Go to actorsauditionclub.com/business. That's actorsauditionclub.com/business. Save your seat inside the Rise of the Digital CEO, the once a year, 3-part live training extravaganza where James is going to teach you everything you need to start, grow, and scale your digital business and create online digital recurring revenue that you own so that you can support your career as an actor, as a comedian, as a creator. You can, again, go to actorsauditionclub.com/business or shoot me a DM on Instagram at Joey Freddie Larson. Just drop the word RISE. I'll make sure you get the link. I'll make sure you get in, but you got to do it now. This only happens once a year. We'll see you next time. Stay tuned for the next special episode, these business building episodes of Inside the Audition. And again, a reminder, obviously, we're here to help you with your auditions. If you need to book a self-tape audition coaching session, you can go to actorsauditionclub.com. If you need to join our Monologue of the Month Club, you can go to monologueclub.com. Excited for this season. This is the season where I help people grow their online business and I help people grow their digital offerings. But we're here 24/7, year-round, to help you shoot standout auditions and to help you master monologues so that you can book your next lead role. Thank you for listening to Inside the Audition, and we'll see you at the Rise of the Digital CEO.